Okay, so now let's go to menstrual cycle. So as I've told you earlier, the average in average woman it's always 28 days, but it varies from woman to woman. So it can be shorter or longer. So stated here it can be 18 up to 40 days. So there are a lot of hormonal changes that is happening in a female body with the menstrual cycle. Okay? So again, there's a series of changes. Occur. So, of course, menstrual cycle, ayan, so it occurs in sexually mature, non-pregnant females, and that culminate in menses. So, menses or the menstrual bleeding, it's the actual bleeding, the period of bleeding for females. Again, the superficial part of the endometrium is also sloughed here during the menstruation. Okay, so the first day that you will have, that a female will have their menses, it's considered the first day of the menstrual cycle, and it will last the menstruation will last for 4 to 5 days. Okay, typically it's 4 to 5 days, but again for some 3 days, for some up to a week. Okay, so again it differs from woman with woman to woman. So again, diba, there is a sloughing off of your endometrium. So and also remember it's inhibited by the progesterone and stimulated by the estrogen. So during this time, so the both the estrogen and the progesterone are low. Okay. So now we go to the ovulation. So this again, we consider the menstruation day 1 to day 5. So ovulation is actually the 14th day. As I've told you earlier, it's the 14th day of the menstrual cycle where your estrogen are high, well, and your on the other hand your progesterone are also increasing. Okay, so during your ovulation. Okay, so this is simply the release of the egg from the, what happens here is the release of egg from the ovary. Okay, so the temperature, so stated here, the simplest method of predicting ovulation is looking for a drop in basal body temperature preceding ovulation. Okay, but of course, a least reliable method. So because the body temperature will drop, okay, before the ovary releases an egg, okay, and afterwards, again, afterwards it will rise again. Okay, so between the menstruation and the ovulation, you have your so-called proliferative phase. So this is the phase uh, wherein the estrogen are high and the progesterone are low. So it's the day 6 to 13 of the menstrual cycle. Again, after your bleeding days, so you have your proliferative phase before your ovulation. Okay? So these are the happenings with your proliferative phase. Okay? So estrogen acts on the uterus and causes the epithelial cells of the endometrium to divide rapidly. And also there is a thickening of your endometrium. Okay? So next is your secretory phase. Okay? So your secretory phase, so this is uh again your day 1 is with your menstruation. So it's typically day 1 to 5. Okay, let's say day 1 to 5, ovulation, day 14. So between that, you have your proliferative phase, which is day 6 to 13, and your last phase, the secretory phase, the day 15 to 28. So during this time, the estrogen levels is decreased, and the progesterone, on the other hand, is um, the progesterone is increased. Again, estrogen decrease, progesterone increase. Okay, so this is simply the phase wherein it's again after the ovulation until the next start of the period or the bleeding. Okay, the bleeding period. So what happens with your secretory phase? So if stated here, ayan, the lining of the uterus reaches its greatest degree of development. Thus, the endometrium become thicker. For example, there is no fertilized egg. What will happen is there will be a breakdown of the lining. Wherein, on the other hand, of course, if there is a fertilizer, it will now secrete hormones to get ready for pregnancy. Okay? So, ayan, the uterus is prepared for implantation of developing blastocyst by day 21. Okay? So, blastocyst, so it just simply means the embryo. Okay? Again, so this is the summary of what happens with your estrogen and your progesterone during the different stages or the phases of the menstrual cycle. So again, as you can see, it's fluctuating. Okay, so it's different day to day. So depending on the stage. Okay, so menstrual cycle. So again, estrogen will stimulate the proliferation of your endometrium, and progesterone thickens, causes thickening of the endometrium, di ba? This is what I mentioned to you earlier. So again, it is inhibited by your progesterone and stimulated by your estrogen. Okay? So next, so we have your FSH. That initiates, or your follicle stimulating hormone that initiates the development of your follicles. Okay? So remember that your FSH, this is actually highest before ovulation. So meaning before the release of an egg. Okay? So your estrogen is the one that stimulates again the production, the secretion of these different hormones. And in return, their increase will also stimulate another or more secretion of your estrogen. Okay? Next, LH stimulates ovulation and formation of the corpus luteum. Okay? So, associated of what we have previously discussed earlier. So, when we talk about fertilization, so again, if there is a fertilization, meaning there is an there will be an increased progesterone secretion. So, meaning there will be no menses. Okay, no mens. But if there is no fertilization, there will be a decreased progesterone. There will now be menses. Okay. So again, day 1 menstruation, day 1 to 5 menstruation, 6 to 13 proliferative phase, the 14th is your ovulation, and of course the last is your secretory phase from day 15 to day 28. So this is the summary of the different hormones responsible for with your female reproductive system. Your GnRH, your FSH, progesterone, oxytocin, ayan, and also your HCG. Okay? So now we go to your term menstrual cramps. So when you say menstrual cramps, of course, these are painful contractions. Okay, it occurs maybe before and during the menstruation. So most especially during the first day of menstruation. It is because of the secretion of your prostaglandins. Okay, so because again, di ba, prostaglandins, they are known as hormone-like substances. So again, on the earlier discussions with your Anafi, it was discussed to you that prostaglandins, they are involved both in inflammation as well as in pain. Okay, so meaning an increased secretion of prostaglandin, also an increased menstrual cramps. Okay, so another one, as the endometrium of the uterus sloughs off, it becomes inflamed. Ayan. So therefore, there will be a production of your prostaglandin, and again, increasing the menstrual cramps. But this menstrual cramps, this can be relieved or alleviated by different medications. Okay, for example, different aspirin-like drugs. So your NSAIDs, your non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, that they can be used for your menstrual cramps. Okay, so next, ectopic pregnancy. So when you say ectopic pregnancy, this is also known as your extrauterine pregnancy. So this happens, so di ba, it must occur in the woman's uterus. But with the ectopic pregnancy, what happens is the fertilized egg grows outside the uterus. Okay? So, that's why it is called as the ectopic pregnancy. The most common site, ayan, is uterine tube. Okay, but in some cases it also happens that it is implanted in the somewhere in the abdominal cavity. Okay, so again we say ectopic, it's extra uterine, so outside the uterus. Okay. Next is menopause. So of course, when you say menopause, it's the cessation of the menstrual cycle. So this is the time wherein the period now will stop. Okay. So this will of course occur naturally. So from 45 years old, it can menopause can already occur. Okay. So menopause, ayan. So again, cessation of menstrual cycle, but we also have here the term climacteric. Okay, so climacteric. So pag sinabing menopause, it's really the event wherein the menses stop. But climacteric, so it's the different changes that occurs before the menopause. Okay, the different changes that the female body is experiencing. Okay, the changes in hormones. Okay, the hormones causing different signs and symptoms. For example, ayan, stated here, uncomfortable sweating or the so-called hot flashes, fatigue, anxiety, temporary decrease in libido, and occasionally emotional disturbances. Okay, some are common, some are not. Okay, so but all of them are a result of the changing levels of hormones, particularly of the estrogen in the female body. So, but these symptoms can be managed by your HRT or the hormone replacement therapy. Okay, so again, so it's a medication containing female hormones. Okay, but of course, with all the medicines that we have, all has their own negative effects, okay, and positive effects. So it might increase the risk of having different kinds of cancer, but on the brighter side, it helps uh, in the slowing down of the decreasing of the bone density. Okay, so this is again a therapy, and this HRT, this is commonly used to treat the menopausal symptoms, hot flashes, um, anxiety, vaginal discomfort, etc. Okay. So next is the female sex, uh, sexual behavior and the female sex act. So female sex drive is partially influenced by testosterone-like hormones. So with your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, they all has a uh, function or role in a female sex drive or female sexual drive, okay, or your so-called libido. Okay, so actually the peak we're in or the time we're in a female are most the most sexual desire is before the ovulation happens. Okay, so the second bullet, so this includes autonomic nerves causes erectile tissue within the clitoris. So again, di ba, we have discussed what happens to the usually happens with the clitoris. So when it is when because of the autonomic nerves, what will happen now is there will be a blood. Okay, the blood will rush to the erectile tissue. Okay, so meaning it will erect the clitoris. There will be a clitoral erection. Ayan, with also engorged with blood, vestibular gland secreting mucus, vagina producing a lubricating fluid. And all of these are very important during sexual intercourse. Of course, to allow the um, entry of the penis without or with less pain, okay, on the female side. So again, this is what happens with the female sex act. Next is tactile stimulation of the female's genitals during sexual intercourse, and psychological stimuli normally trigger an orgasm or your so-called climax. Okay, so these are, when you say orgasm or climax, this is just simply a peak of a sexual and excitement during during the sex act. Okay, so after that, of course, after the climax or the orgasm, so after that, of course, there will be a resolution, okay, or the sense of satisfaction or and relaxation. So although this happens, this sometimes do not happen, okay, and it is not, remember that it's not important for fertilization. So no orgasm or with orgasm, fertilization can occur. Okay. Next, causes of infertility in females. So, of course, malfunction of the uterine tube. So, occurs when infections result in pelvic inflammatory disease or the PID. So, this is an infection in your female reproductive organ. So, this is usually caused by an bacteria, okay, by a sexually transmitted bacteria. Next is reduced hormone secretion from the pituitary gland or the ovary. So both your LH and your FSH. And this can happen because of the different conditions within the person, within the female. Okay? So next is interruption of the implantation. So this can result from uterine tumors or conditions causing abnormal ovarian hormone secretion. So if there is, if the implantation is interrupted because of certain factors, for example, the presence of tumors, and it can also cause infertility in females. So next is, so effects of aging. So of course, again, we've already discussed this, menopause. Okay? So there is a decrease with the female, the important female hormones. Also, with the, with the physical, uterus will decrease in size, and the endometrium, it decreases in thickness. Okay? So again, the most important, or the most important thing that you have to remember is menopause. Okay? So also, of course, vaginal walls becomes thinner, sorry, and less elastic. So meaning there will also be a less lubricant in the vagina. And this is causes risk infection. Okay, so there is an increased risk infection with females, particularly in vaginal yeast infection. That's why it's normal. For example, uh, you would talk with an OB or whoever, or pharmacist, for example, in a pharmacy. So most females that's asking for vaginal suppositories are most of them are elderly women. Okay, because of this reason. Okay. Another one, of course, increase in different illness, cancers of the different parts of the female reproductive system, breast, cervix, ovaries, etc. Okay? So again, PID, this is again a bacterial infection. So we have already discussed this earlier. This is caused by a bacteria, either by chlamydia, usually, or by gonorrhea. Okay? So, but of course, this is a bacterial infection, so meaning it can be treated by antibiotics, by our antibacterials present in the, available in the market. Again, remember that this can cause infertility to females. So next is non-gonococcal urethritis, or the NGU. So this is infection of your urethritis, so meaning infection of your urethra. Okay? Um, the term is non-gonococcal because it's not caused by the gonorrhea. So this is caused by your chlamydia trachomitis. Okay? So next is trichomoniasis. So caused by your protozoan called as your trichomonas. Ayan. So the symptoms here is same with the other infection. So itching, redness, ayan, discharge, okay? Discomfort when the patient is when the female is urinating. So also it results in a greenish yellow discharge. Okay, at also it's not only greenish yellow, but it is also has a foul smell. Okay. Next is gonorrhea. So again, kanina may non-gonococcal. So this one's caused by Neisseria gonorrhea. Again, this is again a bacteria. Okay, so the most often um, affected with gonorrhea is the urethra. Okay, the urethra. Okay. So for both women and men, so meron tayo parehas na they can be both affected by gonorrhea, and for men this can cause infertility. For women this can cause PID, pelvic inflammatory disease, so meaning it can also cause infertility. Okay? Genital herpes, so caused by a virus. So the previously discussed conditions was caused by a bacteria. So this is caused by a virus, particularly your herpes simplex virus. Okay? So again, your HSV2. Okay? This is also a sexually transmitted infection. Okay? So of course, the previously discussed conditions, they can be treated by antibacterial, except for this one, okay, for your trichomoniasis. So there is a different treatment for this. So for genital herpes, what we are using is your antivirals. Okay? Next is the genital warts, also a viral infection. Okay? So this is also a type of sexually transmitted infection. Okay? So just again, read the signs and symptoms and the appearance, how it presents, how the manifestations of these conditions. So genital warts, so ayan, so it has a cauliflower-like clusters. If you would see in the picture, if there's a picture in your book, if you could search for it, you would see that it looks like it has a cauliflower appearance. Okay. So, next is the syphilis. So, caused again by a bacteria, particularly the Treponema pallidum. Okay? Syphilis, this is also sexually transmitted. Okay? It actually starts by a it's not yet painful at start, but eventually it will become painful. Okay? Next is, of course, you already know this with I think with your immune system and with the other organ systems discussed. So your AIDS, or your acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, so caused by your HIV. So what happens here is the immune system is damaged. Because of the damage with the immune system, your HIV, what will happen? That virus will interfere with your immune system, with the ability of our body to fight infection. That's why the immune system of patients with this infection is down, because again, their ability to fight, okay, those infections are now down. Okay, so because of, again, this AIDS. Okay, so again, we are the HIV is targeting the immune system. That's why patients with AIDS are usually the cause of the death is due to the complications because of the down of with their immune system. Okay, so that's all with your female reproductive system. So again, this is the second to the last topic for your whole course of ANAFI. So next week is the last topic, which is the male reproductive system. So thank you, everyone.